Back here at home, a fight is brewing on Capitol Hill over defense spending, with President Trump planning to propose using a budget maneuver to get the money without lifting budget caps. Now, according to a new op-ed from Acting Office of Management Budget Director Russ Vought, who, by the way, joins us now from the White House with more. Russ, okay, now, explain to us this maneuver, because President Trump was backed into a corner. He wanted to significantly increase defense spending, bring up morale, bring up capability and readiness. Everyone understood that, but it was at a huge eye cost, you know, $1.5 trillion. Explain to us how he gets around that this time.
Sure, and thanks for having me on the show, Charles. One of the things that we're looking at is the fact that this country has a $22 trillion national debt. We're looking at trillion-dollar deficits every year for the next 10 years. We need to get a handle on our spending as a country. What the president is going to be putting forward in his budget that we'll send to the Congress in 2 weeks is an effort to continue the rebuild, but also to cut non-defense spending and to use the current law spending caps that are already in law to be able to reduce spending. What we want to avoid as a country is a situation where we found ourselves in the last spending debate, where instead of having a debate between guns or butter, we just do both, where Democrats insist on doing a dollar increase for non-defense spending for every dollar in defense spending. We can't afford that as a country anymore. So what this budget will do is that we will ask Congress to put the money in what's called the OCO, Overseas Contingency Operations Account. There is no cap to that, so we can continue the military rebuild, which this president came to office to do, and cut non-defense spending, which is also important to get our fiscal house in order. And
are you saying, Russ, that you don't need a majority of the House and the Senate to go along with this?
They'll have to go along with it. They'll have to pass it. But what it does is it gets you out of this conversation, and there's a muscle memory in Capitol Hill with regard to how they do spending agreements. They always look to do a dollar-for-dollar increase for every defense dollar. They want to increase it with non-defense. We want to get away from that. And so what we're trying to start a conversation with Capitol Hill is to say, look, you don't need a cap deal. You can do it differently. You can do it on an annual basis. You can increase defense spending by putting it in an account that has no cap to it. And you can live by the current law spending caps as they apply to non-defense spending. And we're going to put forward the president's 5% reduction to many of these non-defense spending agencies when we put forward the budget in 2 weeks.
All right, so you're saying more guns, no butter, or less butter, and that may somehow make it through. Russ, I think it's creative. We'll see, though, if Congress buys into it. You might have trouble with both sides of the aisle, but we appreciate you coming on and explaining it. Thank you very much.